Tyrannosaurus rex, the most well-known dinosaur in history. Its fame began in the late 1800s when it was first discovered in eastern Montana, United States, and since then, its popularity grew to astronomical proportions. For almost a full century that its presence can be seen everywhere. From museums to books, galleries, movies, documentaries, shows, merchandise, toys, and of course, video games. With such an imposing name like King of the Tyrant Lizards, it is clear that people always expected this species to be an important highlight in paleontology, and this beast did a damn good job delivering, being by far the most researched, studied, and showcased dinosaur of all time, being covered in almost every single piece of paleo media imaginable, transcending itself into the world of pop culture. In fact, this goes way beyond mere popularity. In pretty much everywhere you can find this majestic carnivore, that dinosaur is displayed in a way that seems unnatural. They are the best, the strongest, utterly unkillable death machines that decimate everyone they cross paths with. They are portrayed almost as a tier above every other living creature in a way. But why does that happen? Why do we see it so often, and why this dinosaur in particular? For most paleo enthusiasts, the origins behind this pattern are not all that surprising, and almost expected, to be honest. Even though its representation in the general media is highly exaggerated, it does have a basis in reality. You see, T-Rex's physiology and anatomical characteristics makes it an absolutely terrifying predator. With up to 40 feet in length, 12 in height, and weighing up to 8 tons, twice as much as an average African elephant, this was the largest land meat-eater that ever lived. With a huge head making up for 12.5% of its total body mass, Rex had extremely large and powerful jaws, the most powerful in fact between all land animals ever known, reaching a bite force up to 13,000 pounds of force, Megalodon being the only animal to ever surpass that number, and with around 60 30-inch banana-shaped teeth capable of handling enormous amounts of pressure, Rex's bite was just unreal, easily capable of crushing bones and even steel. This animal had enough strength to bite a modern car in half. And as if that wasn't enough, its olfactory bulbs, head shape, and brain structure were highly developed, giving this gigantic carnivore precise binocular vision, keen sense of smell, and high intelligence for its size. We are talking about the biggest carnivore in existence that can crush metal, eat you whole, see you and smell you from miles away, and be just as smart as birds of prey of today. The power of this monstrosity was absolutely real. Its apex status exists for a reason. They were truly the kings of lizards. But that is not exactly how they are portrayed in media. Sure, they were formidable predators in real life, no question about that. But in the end, they were still animals like any other, with strengths, weaknesses, struggles, advantages and disadvantages. They born, live and died like anything else. But in movies and games, however, that concept goes completely out of whack. They are not just incredibly effective in their abilities, they are straight up overpowered. They deal the most damage, they are extremely tanky, usually have an ability that compensates for their lack of mobility, or they don't lack mobility in the first place. Whenever they hunt, it ends up in success 90% of the time, and most of it is almost effortless. Fights against them in films are extremely one-sided. Jurassic World Dominion, for example, spoilers by the way, Rexy, a super old Tyrannosaurus, fought countless times, injured, fights against a peak performance Giganotosaurus, proceeds to be defeated, literally dies, only for the movie to be like, psych, and wins. What? It's always the same. Same dinosaur, same achievements, always superior. Of course, most media in this context is fictional, so there is some sense of disbelief going on. But the choice for the strongest dino, being hero or villain, is always the same. Disney's Dinosaur is one of the very few that escapes that trend for the past 20 years, and even then, the Carnotaurus design is just a Rex with horns. Not only Rex is constantly picked to an extreme degree, its depiction is leagues above any other dinosaur present in their respective media pieces. It is evident that people take this already fearsome species and tuned it up to 11. And unfortunately, the reason behind it is simple. Money. As stated previously, Tyrannosaurus Rex is vastly popular and it has been for decades. It is one of the most well-researched dinos, and as such, our knowledge about them is deep and detailed. From the way they look, to how they move, feed, reproduce, communicate, and interact with the world around them. Their status in the animal kingdom, plus their continuous study in the field of paleontology, only increased its relevancy in pop culture, and we can see that. Rex is everywhere because wherever Rex is, money goes. People want to see them, buy their merch, play games with it in it. There is a demand for it. And this is the result of a vicious cycle of a dino being popular, people invest on its presence in media, dino shows up more often, which in turn keeps the dino popular, making people keep investing on it. There is no incentive to highlight other species, let alone avoiding Rex altogether. Artists, writers, and developers alike are financially influenced to keep spamming Rex, because despite many people criticizing that exact decision, the reality is that the public as a whole still spend money just to have Rex on screen. Here's a great example. Path of Titans is a dinosaur survival game which began as a Kickstarter a few years ago. One of its key selling points was intentionally avoid overused and overly popular species in its roster, giving room to more obscure and lesser known ones for higher variety and as a way to let people discover more exotic dinosaurs. During the campaign, as per usual, it was possible to donate large sums of money in exchange for the addition of a dinosaur of the person's choosing. And guess which one did one generous individual spend $2,000 on? That's right, in a game specifically crafted to not use overrated dinos. A game targeted at paleo nerds that were looking for a breath of fresh air away from the same old species being shown. A game designed to not have apex tier dinos in it. Rex still found a way to get in. It is truly a shame that this trend has been active and increasing since the 50s. Now more than ever, the world of the Mesozoic is more diverse, complex, detailed, and rich than ever before. So many beautiful creatures were discovered and studied since the beginning of the 21st century. Many of which just as incredible in their stature and physical capabilities. But time and time again, the ones put into the spotlight are always the same, being Rex the most extreme example. That is a problem. It saturates the market, it limits creativity, and in the case of video games, it can even destabilize the title's balance or injure its fundamental design. Obviously, there's nothing inherently wrong with adding T-Rex into a show, documentary, movie, or game. That dinosaur is fantastic and is a very important piece of paleontology for numerous reasons. But there is a time and place to add it. And saturating its presence will only hurt the media it's in, even if there's a financial benefit in the short term. They shouldn't be introduced for the sake of it, which, let's be honest, most of the time they are. They should have a purpose, a motive to be there. Don't add Rex in a movie or game just because it's mainstream or popular. added in benefit of the product. Besides, there are many other dinosaurs that deserve the spotlight, even other tyrannosaurids. Many species offer perspectives, scenarios, and even knowledge that Rex just can't provide. More and more, the king of the tyrant lizards is used as a celebrity rather than for the intrinsic value it has as an apex predator, even in documentaries. There's so much more that we can learn from this time era. Millions of years worth of biology. We shouldn't limit our media to a few selected members, no matter how cool they may be. A huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel and the content I create. If you wanna join the ranks, you can do so for only $1 a month, the link will be in the description. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions down below, join our Discord server, engage with the community, and I hope to see you all next time.